Welcome to the Soros Empire channel. My name is Soros and I'm an 8-figure Amazon seller specializing in retail and online arbitrage. My goal for this channel is to be a resource for anyone that wants to build their Amazon business through arbitrage. This will include tips, tricks, and tactics for sourcing products, shipping, and selling them on Amazon, and tactics to get out of your own way and take massive action. In this video, I'm going to go in exactly how to hire remote employees for your arbitrage business, when to hire them, why everyone is doing this wrong, and how I now work 1 hour per week because my employees have gotten so good at this. And make sure you stay until the very end because I'm going to give the exact screening questions I use to get top tier employees. So let's talk about hiring. Where do most people go wrong? Well, first of all, they're doing the right thing here. They go into Upwork or onlinejobs.ph to find a virtual assistant. If you're doing that, you're on the right track. Right away, I'm going to say going to an agency for your first employee is wrong. You know, agencies can be great, fantastic resources, but I think hiring is such an important part of a business that you should learn it from the ground up, and you have a better chance of getting a top tier employee by doing it yourself. So what most people do is they create an ad on Upwork, they pick the first or the second person that applies to that ad, and then they hire them. Or they go into Upwork and they find someone for the specific thing they need done in Amazon, maybe sourcing or account health, and they find that person and they hire them. And then they pay them $2.50 to $3 an hour, the lowest they can, to save some money. And no, every one of these things is wrong in my book. So let me tell you how to do this right. First, let's take a step back. What kind of employee do we want to get? We want to get a full stack employee. I got this term from Sam Ovens, and I always abide by this. And what that means is somebody that can possibly do everything in your company after they hit their potential. Not someone that can only be a role player, not someone that can't talk to other people, not someone that can only code, or someone that can only do account health. No. We want an employee from the very beginning, and every employee we hire to have the potential to even potentially run your entire store. That's what I think of when I hire an employee. And what ends up happening is many people, even though you went for that, they end up just being a role player, but they're still good at reaching across departments. So you want a full stack employee because a company is something where there's lots of responsibility and lots of things passed back and forth between departments. It's not something where you just want role players in different places to do their thing and nobody talk. That's how you have just a clunky conveyor belt company that doesn't make you any money. You need people working together, able to mastermind, able to grow together and become very, very good at Amazon. And that's what's happened in my store after they've been together. So we want full stack employees. And let's take another step back. When is it a good time to hire your first employee, your first remote employee? And by the way, if we talk about that full stack comment, why I hate the term virtual assistant. Think about those words. Virtual. Yes, everybody knows everything's virtual already, so that's almost pointless. And assistant. We're just hiring assistants? No, we're hiring people that can eventually run our entire company. So they're employees, and I've had many employees rise up to be in the C-suite in my companies. So when is it time to hire an employee? When is it good time to hire a remote employee? One good time is when you have, let's say, 5 to 10 hours or more of a menial task that you know creates no value in your company, but you have to get it done. So the first employee I ever hired, I went on Upwork and I actually got lucky. I did the wrong things and got a lucky employee, but then I had to learn the hard way after doing it this way, hiring a bunch of employees that I sunk a lot of time into because I did not hire them correctly. So my first employee, I got lucky on Upwork. I paid a lot. I paid $8 to $10 an hour, and he came in specifically to do a spreadsheet task that I was taking 1 to 2 hours per day to do. I'd drop off my retail inventory at my prep center, and I needed to give them a nice document, a spreadsheet, and I would fill it out every night. If I could get someone to do that for me 1 to 2 hours per day, that would save me 5 to 10 hours per week, and I could be spending that time sourcing where I make $300 per hour. So easy trade-off, $8 an hour for my remote employee, $300 an hour sourcing. That's a really good way to get a start, hiring a part-time remote employee and them, just getting your feet wet with them. The other time I recommend for you to get a remote employee is if you want a sourcer, but not in the way everybody else does it. Everybody does this wrong as well. When people want more leads and they want a sourcer, a lot of people think they can just hire an employee that does Amazon and bring them in and get leads. And yes, you'll get some leads. But that person, if you're paying them cheap, they may have another job.
You don't matter anymore.
They have skill on Amazon. They may be working for 3 other stores, so their head might not be in it. They're going to come in And you yourself aren't that good at sourcing yet because you hired them for this task and you're just going to let them run and give you leads. So you can't really manage them very well. So let me tell you the way I recommend doing it. When I bring in someone that's going to be a sourcer, I don't bring in someone that's ever sourced before. I bring someone in from the ground up. And if this is your first employee, this is what we've done with my students too that have gotten to $100,000 months in 4 months. My last student did that and we broke it down and what happened. We hired a very good employee, and I'm going to get through the hiring process after this. Sat her down next to my student for everything and made her basically my student's second brain. So 4 months straight of this, of them training together, sourcing together, going back and forth on leads. When 4 to 6 months passed and my student was at a $100,000 store, that employee was also at that skill level. So now we're at a $100,000 store and my employee's hours have been cut in half. And then they went further and further down. That's what I recommend. When you hire someone, especially your first employee, you picture them as someone that could run your company. You bring them in and you sit them down and they're your best friend and you are on video chats and you're on Skype messages back and forth talking about leads all day. That's how you bring in an employee and make a massive impact on your business. You don't just bring in a sourcer that's already done Amazon, stick them in a room and say, give me leads. That's not going to go anywhere. So how do we actually get these employees? Again, like I said, going on Upwork is correct. I use Upwork for almost all of my employees. We go on Upwork. We want to create a phenomenal job posting. We want a job posting that really explains your vision. What is your company doing now and where is it going? And you can exaggerate, you can paint a picture because really I'm huge on setting big goals and you don't know how it's going to go, but don't undersell your company. You are in an awesome industry. You are in Amazon. You're trying to triple your store this year. You're gunning for $1 million in sales. Put that in your post and put in your post that, look, you're going to start for $4 per hour, which is higher than most people. I go for Philippines most of the time, but I've also hired in Pakistan, Venezuela. $4 an hour is much higher than the original entry rate. So I said, look, you're going to come in for $4 an hour. You could double your salary or more by the end of the year if you get good at certain things in my company. So there's tons of room for growth. So you want to make a post that just attracts the best people. The best people aren't looking for these boring Amazon posts, I want a sourcer. They're looking for incredible job posts where they're going to have an amazing time. Again, these are not virtual assistants. These are remote employees, phenomenal people with potential looking for the best thing that can let their potential thrive. So you want to make an amazing post, something that resonates with you, something that may resonate with other employees. So that's a really good part of this. You put in that post. One thing that I like to do, and I think this is an opinion, but I think there's some value in this. I use Upwork's filters to look for people with accounting, engineering, or computer science backgrounds. And I don't care if I'm hiring for marketing. I still look for that. I'm crazy because they are problem-solving college degrees. These people had to solve problems in those degrees. People that went into just business administration or econ, like they're theoretical. There's a lot of theoretical learning, and this may piss some people off talking about this, but these degrees show that they did a lot of hard work in their schooling. I'm looking for good experience too, but this is one of the filters I like to use. And then I put in 4 specific screening questions at the end of the post, and I'll tell you what those are towards the end of this video. So after that, you've made your beautiful post, you put in your screening questions, you put in some filters, you pick your countries. What do? You see some people that Upwork suggests and you hire the first employee. No, absolutely not. Statistically, you need this post to get to 50 to 100 people to show interest so that statistically you know you're getting the cream of the crop. If you send that out to even 10 people, there's a statistical chance that you may not get a single high flyer, fantastic person looking at your post. So you're going to make this post. You're going to you may have to pay the $20, $30 on Upwork to allow yourself to do this in one day. I just do that. And I go in there, people come up. Upwork suggests based on the post. And I go in and individually select people from the range of $5 an hour to like $50 an hour. People are really throwing out random hours on their hourly rates on there, but I have my rate in my post. They know what they're going to pay. They're going to be paid. And some people, they may have $20 an hour and they can be negotiated down to like $5 an hour if you show them the vision, if you show them they could grow in your company. And a lot of people with these 20 an hour, they're just throwing something out there. They're seeing what sticks and it's for like 1 hour or 2 hours of work. Now, if you're hiring a full-time employee, it's super reasonable to bring someone in at 4 and show them a growth trajectory. If they're part-time, you're probably looking at 6 to 8. If you're going a lot, like for like 5 to 10 hours a week. Now, if you're going to go a lot cheaper than that, again, the issue is they might just have other jobs. They're not incentivized to give it your all, give their all to you.
And I hate everything.
I really prefer to err on the side of overpaying. Some people disagree with me there. So we make the post, we individually find people we like and invite them to the job post, 50 to 100 people. And now you have your screening questions there. And the beauty of the screening questions is you got 100 people looking at your post, invited to the post. Only 10 of them are going to fill out the screening questions well. And what that means is they're in the right place in their life where they're actually putting in effort, and they're actually interested in your job post, and they're writing fantastic paragraphs responding to your screening questions. You'll know right away when people have one-word responses or they don't respond, they're just not ready for your job. And the people that are ready and love your post, they're going to give you a nice paragraph. It's going to be well thought out. And just like that, you are going to filter 100 amazing candidates that you already got because you made an amazing post, you invited them. You're going to filter it down to like 5 candidates that answered the screening questions really well. And then after that, the interview process begins. You have 5 candidates. We won't get too much into the interview process here, but basically you want to ask them about their actual experience, their actual projects that they did. What did you do in this situation? What was a project that made you super pumped and you did really well on? What was a project that was really hard, but you found a way out of it? What did you do? So those are some things you can ask on the interview questions, but we'll do that in another video. So that's basically the hiring process. You go onto Upwork, you make an amazing job post. You filter for problem-solving type people. You pick the country you want. You invite 50 to 100 people to that post between $4 and $50 an hour. And you have the amount you're going to pay them in your post and the growth trajectory. They come in, they look at your screening questions and they answer. It gets narrowed down to 5 people. And then you start the interview process. And what you just did there is you gave yourself a much, much better chance to hire an incredible employee that could eventually run your entire store. My store, I've had 50 employees probably come in. At one point, we were 26 employees and we've had firings and hirings. Right now, we're down to 12 employees and we're gunning for an 8-figure, a $10 million Amazon store this year. I work 1 hour per week on my store. And it's because I hire really well. And then once they come in, I train really well. I take them in, I teach them about Amazon. I teach them how much I care about them because I really do. I motivate and I inspire my employees. So this all sounds like a lot right now when you're starting. You're just trying to get your own Amazon business off the ground. But this is what you're looking at in the future. And what you can do is go in and hire someone and sit them down next to you. You don't have to be this incredible manager, inspirational speaker yet. You just need to sit them down next to you and take them along with you. Take them into your sourcing. Go back and forth talking about leads. Really take this person in as someone that you are sharing your brain with. You are sharing everything you've learned about Amazon with. And it's really going to pay off because they're going to be able to run your entire business. So again, I work 1 hour per week on my online arbitrage and my private label store combined. I have 1 meeting a week. That's how good these employees have gotten. And I would guess that 9 out of 10 other stores don't get to that point because they treat their businesses and people like conveyor belts, subhuman, just hire someone, stick them somewhere and expect results. And that's not reality. So you've gotten to the end. Let me just give you the 4 screening questions that work really well. They're super simple. You put them at the very end. At the end of your Upwork post, they ask you to put in screening questions and you put 4 screening questions. Number 1 is, why are you interested in this position? Number 2 is, what are you good at professionally? Number 3 is, what are you bad at professionally? And this is kind of a trick question. It's funny to see the answers. And number 4 is, what are your career goals? Super simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it. These questions are enough to get people's minds going and see if they're actually interested and excited about your position. And they'll see the questions, they'll give a good answer. You'll get your 5 people out of 100 to interview and you'll be on your way. And I can't wait for you to have your incredible first remote employee, or second if you haven't done it right the first time. Let me know, post, like, and subscribe. This has been Soros Empire. I'm excited to give you more tips, tricks, and tactics for sourcing, scaling, and selling in your Amazon store. Thank you.